Do you really need a limo license for Uber Black? I get that question a lot, so let's dive right into it. I'm going to start with why the license is required, and this is mainly if you live in a major city. If you live in a small city, I'm pretty sure they don't require you to have any chauffeur or limousine license, but they still might require you to have some type of permits or special license. I don't know. I can't speak for small cities because I'm in a major city myself. But basically, you cannot drive Uber Black without a limo license because you have to meet city rules and regulations. It's only basically saying, hey, we know Uber Black is in demand in this city and drivers cannot drive in this city unless they give us a cut, period. So it's only if your city knows it's in high demand. That's why it's not required in every state, or even certain states, they don't even have Uber Black. It's only the major cities that require you to have any type of special licenses and permits. But yes, this is not for every city. And that's why I put you have to meet city rules and regulations. It vary. It's not in every city. Uber enforces it as well in certain markets. And if you don't have it, they won't approve your SUV. You cannot just go buy a black SUV that qualifies for Uber Black and think you finna upload your SUV documents and get approved to start driving Uber Black. No, that's not how it works. Like, it's a whole list of things you have to do once you buy the SUV, and I recommend doing it before you actually purchase the SUV. Now, driving without one can lead to fines, deactivation, and wasted investment, meaning you can go buy the SUV, but you still have to have money to go get the permits and certain licenses that's required in order for you to drive. You can't just buy the SUV and start driving. There's certain things you have to have in place along with the SUV before you're able to drive. And this is one of the top reasons drivers get blocked from starting Uber Black, or they reach like a stopping point. They think, oh, I just need the SUV, and then try to go get the SUV without doing a full research, buy the SUV, and then realize, oh, I can't drive Uber Black without a certain license. Like, this is not regular Uber. You can't just go buy a car and say, hey, I want to get the ride share enforcement on my policy and I'm good to go. I can drive Uber Black. No, that's not how it works. Uber Black is commercial. And I made that in my video that I made yesterday, which was going over the insurance for Uber Black. Now let's talk about where it's required. It's required in New York, the TLC license. For those of you that don't know what TLC means for New York, it's basically the Taxi Limousine Commission. That's it. But it's a mandatory license you have to get in New York, and you cannot drive Uber Black without that license. Same with California as well. In California, instead of the TLC, you will need the TCP, the Transportation Charter Permit. And that's required for all commercial black car and limousine operations. And I put in there, it takes time and add insurance requirements. So with the TCP, it takes time because it take a couple weeks for once you apply and get everything situated, it take a couple weeks in order for you to get approved. But not only that, they also have special insurance requirements as well to go with trying to get that TCP permit. So that's why I put takes time as well. So it's not an overnight, thing that you can do. It's something that takes time. And I will argue that's pretty much in every state that requires you to have a chauffeur limousine license. You can't just go buy an SUV and then try to get the permits and think you're finna start within a week. No, sometimes it takes 2 to 5 weeks before you're able to start driving. Now here in Texas and Houston, they just require us to have a limousine license. And I think it's the same for Dallas. I don't know what special license Dallas require. I don't know if it's delivery or chauffeur, but I know it's similar to the limousine license here in Houston. Sorry. And Austin, I don't think they require you to have no type of limousine license. I think in Austin, you might be good to go. You might not need a limousine license. I know Austin is a smaller city compared to Houston, and I don't really know if Uber Black is in demand yet. I know Austin is growing, so pretty soon will the city of Austin require that? Probably in the future. I don't know. But just because they don't require it now don't mean they won't require it in the future. And currently, if you want to go drive Uber Black in Austin, they still might have some type of special permits in place in order for you to start driving, or before you're able to start driving. So I put a tip in. Your market could have unique local permits. Like, for example, here in Houston, it's the for hire driver permit, which is the limousine permit. And they might require annual inspections. I just recommend, before you even think about getting into this business, just do your research and due diligence to see what your city require as far as the licensing you need in order to start driving Uber Black. How to apply. So basically, I put a 5-step in on how you could apply for the chauffeur limousine license, whatever license in whatever state you in. It's kind of similar for all of us, but it's a 5-step guide right here. Number 1, confirm with your local transportation authority or city permitting office. Basically, don't rely on Uber. So if you live in a different state, city that requires you to have a special type of license in order to drive Uber Black, make sure you call them up. Don't just go to Uber and say, hey, what licensing or permits do I need to drive for y'all? Like, no, call up your city permitting office. Number 2, you got to submit the paperwork. Basically, it's not really a whole lot of paperwork you got to submit. It's just driver license, your insurance, your vehicle registration, and your background check form. Typically, whenever you're applying for like a limousine license, chauffeur license, they want to make sure you don't have any active warrants and your background check come back clean. Now, step 3, pay license or permit fees, which range from $100 to $500 plus, depending on city and state. I know for here in Houston, I paid $662 for all of my SUVs. And that's just for the stickers that go on the windshield. That wasn't all the other requirements I had to pay for. So damn near $2,000 right there just to have 3 SUVs on the road, which is insane. But yeah, this varies depending on what city and state you live in. Number 4, schedule an inspection. Many cities require your vehicle to be physically inspected for the limo license, or basically to get like the permits. So before you receive the permits or your limousine license, in certain states, I know here in Houston, they typically give you your limousine license first if you don't have like a vehicle. But if you do have a vehicle after you get your limousine license, you got to take it to the inspection department for them to inspect it. Typically what they do with the inspection is check the inside of the car and check the outside of the car. And they basically just make sure it's no major damages and the car working properly. And they put you through like a little test, with the blinkers, the making sure your wipers work, your brake lights work, all lights work. Like I said, it's just a basic, simple test to make sure your vehicle is running properly and good to go. Now, 5, receive your license. Some cities issue physical decals or cards that must stay in your car. So for the limousine license, I know here in Houston, we typically have to keep it in our car. I keep mine in my car just in case I get pulled over and I got passengers in the back and the cop want to ask a million questions. Like, hey, I'm a limousine driver. Boom, here's my card. Same with the stickers. Typically, if a cop pull you over, they see them stickers, they know you in the limousine business. So they typically might not have a lot of questions or ask you a lot of questions. If anything, they might ask for your limousine license or chauffeur license, whatever license you're required to have in your city. So just make sure you keep your limousine license on hand. Also, with the stickers on your windshield, that's pretty much there. Like once they put it on, because they do it for you, they put it on the front of your windshield. That's pretty much there. Like you don't have to worry about taking that off or anything like that. My experience, let me move myself real fast. I'm gonna go about right here. I think I should be fine. Yeah, so basically, just to give y'all a rundown of my experience. In Houston, pretty much every Uber Black driver here is required to have a limousine license issued by the city. If you get caught without one, it can be super duper expensive when it comes to the fines. Now, my process was quick. I applied through the city. After I applied through the city, I had to do a background check and also fingerprints just to see if my background record was clean, along with me having any active warrants, which I was clean. Didn't have any of that. After those 2 things was completed and my paperwork was submitted, I basically had to submit all my vehicle info, the VIN number, how many SUVs I had, and their insurance. And then after that, I paid all the fees. I paid for the limousine license separate, and then I paid for the permits separate. The permits or the permit stickers that go on your vehicle. Those was two separate things that I paid for. I got my limousine license first, and then I came back and did my permits or my permit stickers for my SUVs. For me, it took typically 1.5 weeks or 1.5 weeks, whatever you want to call it. I put 1 to 2, but it was like a week and a half, to be honest. Like, it was fast, but it wasn't fast. I remember vividly waiting, like, when they going to approve it? When they going to approve it? So, because I was so eager to go out and drive to see how much money I can make. But yeah, it only took me 1 to 2 weeks. And this could vary depending on what city and state you live in. Mistakes to avoid: assuming all cities are the same. Every market has different rules. And basically, I gave an example, like, what's required in Dallas could get you deactivated in Houston. Just because you in the same state don't mean the city's going to operate the same. Each city within that state operate differently. So you always want to make sure whatever city you move to, even if it's in the same state, you basically call them up to make sure you know what you need to have in order to be operating or legally operating in that city. Another mistake is people that buy a car that go out here and spend 50 to 60K on the SUV without realizing that it's not just the SUV you need. You know, if it's a major city, you're going to need some type of special license along with commercial insurance. And typically they don't budget for it. You know, a lot of people that's in the Uber Black business, typically, I ain't going to say all, but some scraping by, you know, especially when they get started. Because whenever you first start Uber Black, it is not cheap. You spend a lot of money. I spent a lot of money in this business. Don't get me wrong, you make all right money, but it's a lot to get started. Also, not budgeting time and fees between background checks, inspections, and fees. And I put this process eats into your launch timeline. Yes. So if you buy SUV and you planning on, or you buy SUV and you think, oh, I'm finna go out here and make all this money. No, it's typically a process. Like, once you buy the SUV, they might delay you 2 weeks before you're able to start driving. So just make sure you have enough capital to set on and make sure you're good before you actually start driving. Or if you work in a job and you planning on becoming a Uber Black driver because you want to work for yourself, work that job until you get approved. Then take 1 week vacation to see if this business was actually worth getting into. With that being said, that'll be it for this video. I just wanted to make a quick little video for y'all to help y'all better understand why it's important or why it's required for you to have the limousine chauffeur license. And just to sum it up one more time, it's basically going off how greedy your city actually is. You know, here in Houston, they greedy. They know Uber Black drivers making a killing and, you know, making good money because it's in demand. So they like, hey, we want our cut. Give us our cut. And, you know, with that, with them wanting they cut and also the commercial, how expensive the commercial insurance is, all this stuff add up. Which is why if you plan on becoming a driver, just make sure you have enough capital to get started. I would hate for y'all to go buy an SUV and that SUV have to set until you're able to stack up some more money to get all the permits, the insurance, and everything that's required in order for you to start driving. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. I put all of this inside of the Rideshare Blueprint. For those of you that don't know what the Rideshare Blueprint is, it's basically a blueprint I created to help you be successful in the rideshare business. It's a shortcut to all the logistics behind the rideshare business. So if y'all want access to that blueprint, click the link in my bio. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next video.